now Forum Daily's Western Bureau Chief Hal Roberts had a chance to visit a Canadian historical site. Here's what he learned about Fort Macleod.
Southern Alberta has a lot of rich history. There are the spectacular Rocky Mountains, the Calgary Stampede, and in the town of Fort Macleod, located 173 kilometers south of Calgary, there was a fort which was founded way back in 1874. It served as the first post in southern Alberta for the Northwest Mounted Police. Experts say Fort Macleod played a crucial role in maintaining law and order and suppressing the illicit whiskey trade.
The Northwest Mounted Police first arrived here in 1874, but the whiskey trade was actually already underway. It started first in 1869 with an influx of American traders coming into the area. They arrived and word of them coming had already kind of preceded them. So by the time they got here, the whiskey trade had all but stopped. General Macleod, with the help of his guide Jerry Potts, then made his way towards Fort Macleod, where he asked Bullhead, who was camped nearby, if they could stay for the winter, and they never left, and the rest is kind of history.
The fort served as headquarters for the Northwest Mounted Police from 1874 to 1878 and was a safe place where reconciliation could begin with our Indigenous neighbors, in particular the Blackfoot Confederacy. This area has been inhabited by the Blackfoot people for generations. Now, over the years, there have been a number of battles between the Blackfoot and Cree nations, which fought to gain control of certain regions here in southern Alberta.
I think the biggest battle would probably be the Battle of Belly River, which occurred on October 25th, 1870. And what happened was the Blackfoot were actually wiped out a little bit from a smallpox epidemic, and the Cree saw that they were weak and wanted to take territory from them. So a group of Cree warriors came into the area and attacked a Guyana camp at night, but they didn't know that there was other Blackfoot camps around the area that were set up as winter sites. And so when the commotion kind of alerted everybody else, they came charging over the hills and a battle ensued in what is now modern-day Lethbridge. Roughly 200 to 300 Cree warriors were killed, with about 40 Blackfoot warriors being killed, with about 50 being wounded in that battle.
The original fort was actually built on an island in the Old Man River, but due to frequent flooding, it had to be relocated to higher ground.
So originally the fort site was built in 1874 along the Old Man riverbed, and it was roughly 70 by 70 square meters. It contained room for the men, a hospital, a guard's room, and was mainly made out of rough logs, wood, and sod roofs. Now, because of the spring, the river would flood, causing conditions to get worse and worse until about 1884, where they basically had enough and decided to move upriver to the barracks site. The town kind of followed with, and it's kind of been here ever since.
Back in 1923, the town of Fort Macleod was officially recognized as a National Historic Site. Now, the museum where I'm standing was built in 1956. The government at the time acknowledged its importance in the early history of the Northwest Mounted Police and the settlement of southern Alberta. That small settlement grew around the fort, which would later become the town of Fort Macleod, and tourists from around the globe flocked to the historic town each and every year. Main Street Fort Macleod was also designated a National Historic Area back in 1984. Tourism in the town, however, has taken a bit of a hit, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, and is yet to fully recover.
So the Fort Museum in Fort Macleod has been a treasure for a long time. And since COVID, there's been some struggles. Just what does it look like for the forts post-COVID, and what does travel look like? So the industry in Fort Macleod is changing, and for the Fort Museum, it's there's lots to see. And we welcome people to come check out a lot of the history. And if you kind of envision what this community, this area looked like 120, 150 years ago, the Fort Museum will help put people back in time to understand what it was like for the Northwest Mounted Police to arrive in southern Alberta and help with what was going on in the area at that time.
Mayor Fader says he hopes more Albertans will be tourists in their own town and visit the rich and powerful history Fort Macleod has to offer.
I love this exhibit because it gets to share Blackfoot beadwork with our guests who come in the doors. The kids love it. They love seeing all the different colors and the designs that are showcased on them. And here at the museum, we have different panels showcasing some of the history of Blackfoot beadwork, just to share a bit of culture within the museum here.
For the News Forum, I'm Hal Roberts.